Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English podcast. We are talking about how to become a fluent in English.
Okay, wow. Straight to the point.
No messing around. It's a pretty strong statement, isn't it? It tells you right away this isn't just going to be a general chat about English. It's promising a how-to.
And that phrase, how to become fluent, that cuts through a lot of the usual noise,
How so?
Well, it signals that the creators understand a big problem for learners. Just tons of information, no clear path, information overload.
Right. You bounce between apps, websites, books.
Exactly. And it's easy to feel like you're spinning your wheels, not really getting anywhere consistently.
Yeah.
So this guide, just by saying how to, implies it's offering a way out of that, a system.
A systematic solution. So it's pushing towards active learning, not just passive listening or reading. Seems like it. By promising a how-to, it really suggests a focus on things you can actually do. Actionable steps.
So based on that promise,
Yeah.
even without seeing the whole guide, what kind of strategies or core ideas would you guess it might lean into?
Well, if you're promising how to become fluent, you're almost certainly hinting at things like consistency,
Yeah.
showing up regularly,
Makes sense.
and deliberate practice, not just random conversation, but focused effort on specific skills, plus probably breaking down that huge goal, fluency, into smaller, more manageable pieces.
Yeah, fluency isn't just one thing.
Not at all. It's speaking, it's listening deeply, it's getting feedback, even, learning to be okay with making mistakes. That's crucial. It's about targeted effort, not just putting in hours vaguely.
So the guide's very existence points towards needing that kind of framework.
I think so.
And that word in the title, mastering, that feels important too. It's not learning English fluency or getting better. It's mastering.
Absolutely. That's a key shift.
What's the difference psychologically for you as a learner if you're aiming for mastery versus just, say, trying to get by?
Oh, it's huge. Mastery implies a real commitment, right? It suggests pushing through those inevitable plateaus where you feel stuck.
We've all been there.
Totally. And it means understanding that fluency isn't really a final destination you reach, but more like a continuous process of getting better, refining.
So thinking in the language, expressing complex stuff.
Exactly. Connecting culturally, not just translating in your head. And having a guide, something dedicated like this, can act like a companion through that. It reinforces that mastery mindset, helps you stick with it when it gets tough, instead of just giving up.
Turns it from a lonely struggle into more of a guided journey.
Yeah, a guided expedition, you could say.
Okay, so wrapping up just this initial look, even from these few words, the title and the opening line, the big takeaway seems to be that getting fluent in English isn't accidental.
Definitely not.
It's not about luck or just absorbing stuff passively. It really requires a deliberate, structured approach. Something consistent that focuses on active work and clear steps.
And thinking about that more broadly for a second, consider how having that kind of roadmap, that systematic approach, changes things for any complex skill you want to learn, not just language.
Good point.
So the final thought for you listening is, how does having a defined process, a how-to guide, actually accelerate your journey? How does it shift you from just taking in information to really applying it, internalizing it, and, ultimately mastering it? It's not just about learning more stuff. It's about learning smarter, isn't it? Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into something that might genuinely flip your approach to learning English. Right on its head. Imagine if one key skill was, all you truly needed to master the language.
Sounds a bit wild, maybe.
It does sound intriguing, right? Maybe even a bit controversial. We're going to explore why focusing on listening might just be that surprisingly powerful key.
And challenge some of those long-held beliefs about fluency along the way.
Exactly. We're going to unpack this whole idea, look at how it hits everything: grammar, vocab, speaking, writing.
Yeah, all of it.
And show you why listening really could be the bedrock for it all. So our mission today, to uncover this powerful truth together and show you exactly how you can make it work for you.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start with something we all kind of get intuitively: how babies learn their first language.
Right. The classic example.
Think about it. There are no textbooks,
No.
no endless grammar drills,
No flashcards.
definitely no exams. They're just surrounded by sound. They listen all day, every day, sometimes for years, right? And then, almost like magic, they start talking.
It seems effortless when you look at it that way.
It does. Now, contrast that supernatural, organic way with how many of us were taught English in school.
Oh, yeah. Rote memorization.
Complex rules,
Yeah.
focusing on analysis, not really soaking it in. And after all those years, maybe 10 years plus for some people, why do so many learners still struggle with, genuine, effortless fluency?
It's a really good question. A puzzle.
It is a puzzle, isn't it? Let's try and solve it.
Well, I think what often gets missed is that key piece.
Hmm.
The consistent, authentic listening environment. The thing babies get naturally.
Right, the immersion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listening isn't just passive, like letting sound wash over you. It's actively building pathways in your brain.
Okay.
When you hear the language again and again in different natural situations, your brain starts making these really strong connections. For words, how they're used, even the sort of feeling behind them.
So it sticks better than just seeing it on a list.
Much better.
Yeah.
Way more accessible than just, a flashcard or a rule in a book.
Mm.
It's how you actually build understanding. You get the pronunciation right, the rhythm.
The flow of it.
Yeah, the flow. You expand your vocabulary naturally, develop that gut feeling for grammar.
And confidence, too, I bet.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Most importantly, it builds real confidence.
That's a really powerful idea, building neural pathways. But, okay, for someone who spent years trying to memorize rules, that might sound, well, almost too easy, maybe.
I get that.
How does just listening do all that? How does it build fluency if you're not, actively picking apart grammar or drilling words? Let's break down what's actually happening.
Okay, yeah. Think of your brain as this amazing pattern spotting machine, right?
Okay.
So first, vocabulary. Listening is just incredibly efficient. You're not hearing words floating alone. You hear them in context.
In sentences and conversations.
Exactly. Every time you hear a word or a phrase, your brain gets another piece of data, a bit more info on what it means, how it works. Like, think about phrases from TV shows.
Like, what's going on?
Or are you serious?
No.
No way.
Hmm.
You hear them so often in so many slightly different moments that the meaning just clicks.
You don't need to look it up.
Right. You just get it.
Yeah.
It's like building this huge mental database of sounds linked straight to meaning and use.
Okay, that makes sense for vocab. What about pronunciation? That's a big one for learners.
Huge. And listening is key here, too. A lot of learners struggle because they try to say words based on the spelling.
Oh, yeah. Guilty.
We all do it. Take a word like comfortable. You read it, you might think, verbal.
4 syllables.
But then you listen, and you keep hearing native speakers say something like comfortable.
Right. More like 3.
Yeah, it's smoother. That difference sometimes is tiny, but that's what your brain picks up on. It lets you mimic the real sounds, the intonation, the stress, without having to think too hard about it.
Like your brain's just automatically tuning itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's recalibrating its internal sound map constantly.
Okay, and the third piece, grammar. That feels like the toughest nut to crack without rules.
Well, this is maybe the most surprising part. Listening is arguably the ultimate grammar teacher, and no boring rules involved.
Really?
Yeah. Every correct sentence you hear isn't just a random phrase. It's another data point that reinforces an unspoken rule. It's sometimes called statistical learning.
Statistical learning. Okay.
Your brain is unconsciously tracking how words fit together, what patterns sound right. So when you keep hearing things like, I've been there, or she's already left, or maybe we haven't met,
Common phrases.
your brain maps those structures. Over time, you just know what sounds right, what flows. You don't need to consciously remember present perfect is has, shave, plus past participle.
You just feel it.
You feel it. It's building a real grammar instinct.
That statistical learning idea, that really connects the dots, doesn't it, between just listening and actually getting this intuitive grasp of the language. So, okay, given all this, what about those common myths? The things people always say about learning languages that maybe hold them back?
Yeah, it definitely makes you question where we should put our energy, right?
Yeah.
Let's tackle a few. Myth number 1. I have to speak more to become fluent.
You hear that all the time. Practice speaking.
Of course, speaking is the goal, but trying to speak without enough good input, it's like building a house with no bricks.
You end up just repeating mistakes.
Often, yeah. Or just producing very basic, kind of broken English. Listening gives you the fuel. It provides the correct, natural models of what you actually want to say.
Okay. Input first, then output.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
Then, myth number 2.
Uh-huh.
I must study grammar every single day.
A grammar grind.
Right. Now, look, targeted grammar study can be useful. It definitely can help polish your language, understand tricky structures, especially later on. But it's not the main engine for fluency, not for building that deep intuitive sense. Just like with your first language, listening helps your brain internalize the grammar. It trains that instinct.
So it's about feeling the grammar, not just knowing the rules.
Exactly, feeling it. And myth number 3, watching movies or TV That's just fun. It's not real learning.
Ah, the entertainment excuse.
This one couldn't be more wrong. Movies, TV shows, YouTube, podcasts. They are absolute gold mines.
Gold mines, okay.
Seriously. You get authentic dialogue, real situations, culture, tons of vocabulary, expressions, stuff you just don't find in textbooks. The trick is just to listen with focus, with intention, even while you're enjoying it.
You know that comfortable example you gave earlier? That really hit home. I remember my aha moment realizing I'd been saying something slightly wrong for ages just from reading it. And just hearing it once correctly, it just clicked. Like my brain suddenly went, oh, that's the sound.
Exactly. It registers the correct sound wave.
But the real proof, I guess, is seeing how this works for actual people. We've got some powerful stories, right?
We do. They really bring it to life. Take Ravi from Hyderabad. He told us he was just completely stuck, hitting the grammar books, feeling this immense pressure to speak perfectly.
Sounds familiar for many learners.
Totally. So he tried something different. Just 30 minutes of English podcasts every day for 6 months. That's it. No grammar books, no forcing himself to speak.
Just listening for 30 minutes?
Yeah. And he said, look, at first it felt really slow, like nothing was happening. But then, after a few months, something shifted.
What happened?
He started understanding whole conversations without really trying. And then, he said, the right English phrases would just pop out of his mouth when he needed them, without planning it.
Wow. So he went from frustration to actually replying confidently.
Exactly. All powered by listening.
That's incredible. And Sarah's story, too.
Yes, Sarah from Pune, software developer. She used to dread client calls in English. You know, the tech jargon, the pressure.
Yeah, that can be intimidating.
So she started watching English tech tutorials, talks online. But her main goal wasn't English practice. It was to understand the coding concepts.
Ah, so the learning was almost a side effect.
Kind of. She said, I wasn't trying to learn English, I just needed to get the tech stuff. But pretty soon, she realized something amazing.
What with that?
She wasn't just understanding the tech better. She had started thinking in English. The words just flowed more easily when she needed to speak.
Thinking in English, that's like the holy grail for learners, isn't it?
It really is. And these stories, they just highlight it perfectly. Consistent, focused listening literally changes how your brain hears, processes, and eventually thinks in English.
It builds that internal model you mentioned.
That intuitive understanding, yeah, it kind of bypasses all the overthinking and conscious rule checking.
Okay, this is compelling stuff. So if this really is the secret weapon, what does this mean for you, listening right now? How can you actually get started on this listening path? Let's get practical.
Right. Let's make it actionable. To really turn listening into your fluency superpower, here's a pretty straightforward plan. Step 1. Pick your source. What do you enjoy?
Find something you like.
Exactly. Podcasts, obviously.
Yeah.
Like this one. Or TV series, maybe start with subtitles if you need that safety net. Then try without. YouTube channels on topics you love. Cooking, tech, fitness, whatever. Audiobooks are fantastic too.
So find your thing.
Find your thing. Step 2. Start small, but be super consistent. Really consistent. Even just 15 minutes a day, if it's every day, is incredibly powerful.
Daily habit is key.
Consistency beats intensity here. That's the secret for building those brain pathways. Step 3. Don't be scared to repeat stuff.
Re-listen to episodes or clips.
Yes. Repetition is how you build mastery. You'll catch new words, new phrases each time. Your brain locks in those patterns better with repeated exposure.
Okay, that makes sense. Less pressure to get everything the first time.
Right. And step 4. Imitate what you hear.
Ah, okay. So actually making the sounds.
Yeah, but this isn't about having a full conversation yet. It's about internalizing the sounds. Pause the audio. Repeat a sentence out loud. Try and copy the speaker's tone, the rhythm.
Mimic the music of it.
Exactly, the music. It builds that muscle memory for speaking, even if you're just doing it alone. It preps your mouth and your mind.
That's a great point about imitation not being forced conversation practice. And it's crucial to say, again, isn't it, that we're not saying only listen.
Absolutely not.
Don't throw away your books or stop trying to speak or write. What we're arguing really is that listening is the foundation. It's the engine for all the other skills.
Precisely. Think about it. When you have strong listening skills, everything else gets easier. Reading feels smoother because your brain already knows how the words and sentences should sound.
You recognize them faster.
Right. You're just matching familiar sounds to letters. Speaking becomes more automatic, more natural, because you've heard good idiomatic phrases thousands of times.
Yeah.
They're just there.
Internalize.
Deeply internalized. And even writing gets more natural because you have those correct sentence structures, that richer vocabulary, already embedded in your mind. You've got this internal library to pull from.
So listening is, well, like you said, the engine.
It's the engine. It's the fuel. It
Yeah.
really is the heart of fluency.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe just a few final thoughts, some tips to keep you going on this path.
Yeah.
First, and this is important, don't stress if you don't understand 100%, especially when you start. Just keep listening.
Trust the process.
Your brain is learning, it is making connections, even when it doesn't feel like it. Second, try and weave listening into your day naturally.
Make it enjoyable.
Yeah, listen while you cook, while you walk, while you exercise. Make it part of your lifestyle. And maybe finally try to really fall in love with the sounds of English.
The music of it.
Yeah, the music, the rhythm, the flow.
And I just add, trust the process. That's the core message here, really.
Yeah.
Your brain is designed to learn language this way. It's incredibly powerful. It might feel slow sometimes, almost invisible.
But things are happening under the surface.
Big things. And here's the thought to leave you with. One day, maybe sooner than you think, you'll find yourself speaking fluently, pretty effortlessly, and you might just realize, I didn't study harder. I just listened really well.
Wow. What a powerful and honestly liberating thought to end on. We really hope this deep dive has given you a fresh perspective, maybe shifted your thinking a bit, and given you practical tools to make listening your ultimate secret weapon for English fluency.
Go listen.
Go forth and listen and continue your amazing journey.